I was in my house downstairs and there was this little blonde boy. I didn't recognize him, but he was on a leash and I thought that was pretty strange. And I followed the leash into my kitchen. And at the kitchen was sitting a bunch of reptilians dressed in suits and dresses, wearing makeup. And it just looked really silly because I could clearly see that they were reptilians. And they had this poor little boy on a leash, and so it seemed that I came out from behind the little boy, and like the man said, he became an outline figure. I had something very similar where I grew very, very large, became an outline sort of figure, and I scooped them up and I threw them off into space. And it was weird because after I had thrown them once, I had to sing the new, and then because what was left behind of them was almost like a hologram. So I threw their physical, or seemingly like their physical, and then there was like a outline of them left, so I had to throw them again. So then I had that one, and then my next one, I was like a World War One soldier, and I was tasked with clearing a house. And inside the house, I would find a couple of zombies or some kind of creatures, and they chased me. They chased me out into this field, and I was running away from them. And I came to this brick wall in the field that seemed to stretch end to end as far as I could see. And then it only had one entrance way to go through the wall, so I ran through. And as I ran through the wall, knowing I was being chased, everything kind of went slow motion, and I saw two people sitting inside the entryway, and I made eye contact with the one on my right. And without thinking about warning them, I was kind of afraid at the time. I kept running, and I came to another open field on the other side of this wall with a house on the right side. And this house on the right side I ran into, and when I ran into the house, I recognized it as my own. So I ended up hiding on a top shelf and waiting for the zombies to find me. And they did. They came into my house, and they just looked at me, and they just walked away. And I was sitting there super shocked that they didn't attack me, didn't bother me, nothing. It's like it was never their intent to harm me. And so they would take off, and as soon as they left my house, my view would change to outside, almost like a bird's eye point of view. And to the left of where I was seeing the field and the house, a kind of typical demon-like figure appeared with the wings and the red skin and all of that. And he opened his mouth and breathed fire all over the field, and it was totally scorched, but it left the house intact. And I thought that was really interesting because when I came to the field and the house, I was wondering if I should run through the field or go to the house, and ultimately I decided with the house. And I'm wondering if I would have gotten burnt, or would I have not gotten burnt, or was it I was supposed to take the risk? So something to think about. But then after I had that experience of this field being burnt, that scene faded out, and I faded back in, and I was in front of a store. And I actually, when I was in front of this store, it looked a lot like a Costco. It doesn't matter, but that's what it looked like. I received a call from Duane, and when I answered the phone, I was like, "Oh, hello." We exchanged greetings, and I started explaining my dream to him, and he started giving me insight. And so that was nice. And then the call ended, and then shortly after, I got a call from Kelsey, and she was talking to me a little bit, but I got distracted because it was like a video call, and I could see myself in the video. I was dressed as a wolf. I had whiskers drawn on my face. I had like a banded wolf nose, and head to toe, I was wearing like a wolf costume. I thought that was kind of strange because I don't consider myself an intimidating person. I almost looked pretty silly. And so the call ended, and I continued on towards this storefront. And the storefront, like two big garage doors, people were funneling in on the left side and then coming out in three single file lines on the right side. And it just seemed continuous. There was no end. People were just going in and coming out, and the people that were coming out in all these lines seemed almost robot-like. They had an unconscious gaze and like mindlessly followed behind one another, and I thought that was really interesting. And When I turned left, I actually saw my father, my dad, running towards the door to go in, and I grabbed him by his wrist. I managed to grab him, and he was dragging me as I was pulling on him, and I was put my heels to the ground. I was really trying to hold him back. And he told me, he was like, I'm trying to get my spot. I want to go in. I want to be a part of all of that. And I asked him if he could just wait a second and listen to what I had to say. And before he entered, he would spin around and be like, okay, what do you have to say? So we went around the crowd of people, or through the crowd of people. And they paid us no attention, just wanted to get in and come out. And so we would stand off to the side, and I asked him, I said, Dad, can I help you? And he said, yes, I give you permission to help me. And so I wrote the new sound over his forehead, his throat, and his chest. And then after that, I told him, I was like, oh, that's all I ever wanted from you. And then we hugged, and then the scene would fade out. And that was my experience. Thank you.
I'm just curious what the Kelsey call was. Did you get any impressions from that, what that was about?
The call with Kelsey, I told her, I said, hey, Kelsey, I like your videos. I watch them on YouTube. And she said, you can have them. And I figured she meant the knowledge from the videos, like, because there's very informative videos on there, and I do watch them, so I take the knowledge from them. But other than that, it was just her and her face. I could see her. And yeah. And then I ended up getting distracted, so the call ended kind of early because I saw myself dressed as this wolf figure.
Is there something that you want to hear about that, Jeremy?
Two little things. I think the doors that people were coming in and out of, I think that was pretty clearly reincarnation. People funneling in from all directions on the left and unconsciously coming out on the right. But I did want to know about the field being burnt when I was a soldier, and I ran into the personal self home. Was I supposed to take the risk in the field and get burnt? Because I really don't think I would have gotten burnt. I think I was just supposed to see, but I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, well, that is more of a, your description of it, where it was, your impression was like it was a World War I scene, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that would be something in your past. Okay, so you're going to go there and re-experience things and see them in a particular. So that's your personal self thinking the situation, but in the situation you did what you did. You see, that's real. But the personal self, when you come back here, it kind of thinks this way and that way, which is fine. You get objective views about it, and again, it's your choice. You can redo it at any time, even in your imagination. You can do the whole scene, but you're shown something there. And so that's from the past there. You go back into that and kind of you're grabbing a view there of what's going on. So that's relevant to what you're doing now. But it's really not the past. It's just an idea of the past because everything is here now. And your first experience, too, with the little boy and the reptilians and whatever. And yeah, the reptilians are funny. They put on all this stuff like makeup or whatever, thinking that they're disguised, but really you see right through them. There's no fooling anything, and the child is like part of yourself, etc. And you're getting an objective view because it's the real you, and the performance there is what you're doing. And again, the real you took them and just flung them away, but also there's still the impression of them there. Actually, wherever we go, in physical body, whatever, we leave impressions. Okay, so you walk down the street, you go to the store, you see your friends. That whole track is an impression. You see, it's left there, but the personal self doesn't see that. But on the real side, you see all of that. And so I find the conversation, too, with Kelsey interesting. Kelsey's a sweetheart, but at the same time, she's deciding things now. It's a new day, and she's done what she's done. And take a look at the phrase that she said, you can have them. In other words, she's giving them away. In other words, it's almost kind of like maybe that she doesn't care about it anymore, you see? Because now she has attitudes. And so... these kids that were with us, and I've seen many come and go because I've done this over 50 years here with everything that I've gone through and to bring this out, etc. And I've seen many people come and go, and these kids are young. It's going to take you your whole life. You're going to have a lot of experience. It's going to be far out stuff. And a lot of people get caught up in that too. They get caught up in that personal experience and not really seeing the bigger picture. The bigger picture is not easy to see and recognize and relate to. It is not to recognize the isness. That is something else, something so indifferent. But, most people in their mind, as they come along with this, we've seen it on the real side, Kevin's seen it too. These kids, Henry, Eric, and others, Kelsey, they took the knowledge, but that's all they saw. They didn't really see past that. That's why they come and go and they have their attitudes. Now they're going with their attitudes. And I've seen many people do this, and it's okay. It's all okay. Everybody has free will here, and they can do whatever you want. You have the right to do that. And so by that very fact of that choice, and that's up to you too. You're having the experiences, and you're going to decide what those experiences are to you. If anything, you can accept them or reject them. It doesn't matter what you go through. And so it's just like if you go to the market and you buy something there and come home, and then you just tell yourself, hey, I never want to go there again. I don't like that store. I'm going to go somewhere else. So you are the decider, no matter what is taking place. Because we've been indoctrinated a particular way each lifetime, and especially this lifetime with technology, to just distort and just distract everyone so they're so screwed up they don't know what's going on. It is all about the recognition of all life. That's a biggie. And so all these cute little spiritual paths and masters and all these things, and I've been through these things too. I had to go through these things to see what not to do. Paul did that too. Paul was first, and then it was set up for me with Three Bazaar and the Real Guides to bring this about. Very, very real, to where even what Paul set up is so distorted. Those membership people, they're all pizza dough. They don't even see what they're doing. And most people still have emotional attachments. They don't even see to the Ekankar stuff and the masters and whatever master or guru they were with. They think these things are special, but they're not. They're worthless unless you can see them for what they are. They're an old reference. That's all they are. They have absolutely no value, because all of creation, all of what you're experiencing, until you figure out how to reference the is, you can put it on platitudes, you can go out there and do lectures, you can be famous and get millions of hits on Facebook and whatever, but guess what? It all equals nothing. Because it's all about recognizing the is and standing real with that. That's the real adventure. And when you learn to start to see that, just start to see it. But you got to keep at it. You got to really keep at it. So you're a youngster, you're starting, but it's okay. See, the thing is that the real guys in all life see your sincerity. That's what they look for. If you've really got that, or are you just a looky-loo and want experiences and want a thrill, or you want to save your life, or all these ideas. Those are cute too. They'll play along with you, and step by step, they'll bring you along. So your experiences are really cool. It's fun, and you are a witness to what we're doing. And the reason I'm here presenting this, because I've recognized the fact that, people are struggling here. They're all struggling. It doesn't matter how good their life is. Don't matter. They're struggling because they don't know about this reality. And this will all vanish. Everything will vanish here, as it is vanishing, because the reptilians and other aliens are destroying the planet purposely. And it's coming, and it's on full bore. It's full steam ahead right now. And there is no la-la land here. So, again, and when you pass over to the other side, when you pass, doesn't mean you're going to be anywhere unless you can recognize what's going on. So I've seen many pass over, and many of them are even worse off than they are here, because they don't know anything or what have you. So they get scared and they go back to the old stuff. Even here, I've seen people. I taught classes for many years while I was in the corporation, Paul's Car Corporation, and those people that, after I stepped back a little while in 2001 from the Rod of Power, I just needed to redo things and arrest. Well, they went off, and some of them rejoined the corporation again, even though they saw Joni and Harold as reptilians, etc. The emotional attachment with the personal self is huge. And there's a lot to face. And those people that take it for granted, they're only fooling themselves, because there is so much to do. But this is a good start. You start off in baby steps, but like the sun shining, be real with yourself and go for it. Good for you, Jeremy. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening to this video, and if you want to hear more, subscribe to my channel to find further recordings and to keep you updated with all the latest new presentation videos. Duane, the great writer, is making himself available for those who want to know more and see more and be more than just having another ordinary, unaware life on this purposely poisoned planet. Create your new session with Duane, the great writer, and discuss any topic you like. Here are some examples to discuss: personal, financial, relationships, dreams, government, 5G, GMO, chemtrails, vaccines, HARP, military, secret service, spying, subliminal taplining, conspiracy, angels, gods, fairies, ghosts, aliens, reptilians, religious, spiritual, governments, monarchy, and anything that pertains to what you are experiencing in this creation bubble, and also the real universes of real freedom. Learn to get your own answers. New sessions start at 30 minutes at $1, $1 into PayPal a minute, and can be as much time as needed. And yes, the way Duane writes his new words refers to something more than what is known here, and this is where you decide to recognize what is real now with all life, or continue on as you have, with just another personal life in an aging body form. Contact Kevin Smith UK and Dean Val USA on Facebook and YouTube. Additionally, an official new presentation club is now available. The New Awareness Club, Membership to which is $1 per month through PayPal. Click on the New Awareness website link below the description of this video, and from there navigate to the forum site and register there, which serves as a home base for the club.